I don't think I've ever really done one of these videos, so I thought shits and giggles. Let's go ahead and have a smoke sesh while you guys get to know me. Shout out to everyone on Instagram that voted for this video. You guys chose this. I gave you guys 3 different options for this week's video, and you guys chose get to know me, a smoke sesh. So without further ado, if you would like to partake with me, please by all means go load up your bowl, go get your joint, whatever it is that you're doing to consume this energy of just relaxations and vibes. Please go do so. Before we get started though, hi, what's up? My name is Candace and this is 1119. Normally we would be talking about your mindset, spirituality, or self-love, but today we're going to be talking about moi. So I do have my questions here on my handy dandy tablet. So I will be going through some questions that you guys submitted through on Instagram. And then there's some other questions that I added just because I feel like if you've been here for a while, you probably know. But if you just are learning who I am and knowing what I can provide as a knowledge to you, then you don't really know who I am. So, confirmation burp. I'm really ready. So with that all being said, let's go ahead and toke up. Make sure you have some water because we don't want to be dehydrated as we're doing this whole partake in Miss Mother Earth, Miss Gaia. So please, by all means, make sure you are having your handy dandy water. And then you're also, relaxing, I guess. Okay, so the first question that's on my iPad is, what exactly is 1119? And it's my birthday. I honestly just wanted to do some cool wordplay on my birthday. I've named this channel and my Instagram social media handles so many different names. Subconscious Moon, the Butterfly Cocoon, House of M, Galactic Mystic. I feel like I'm missing one or two, but I've named it a lot and they all are a part of me. They're all different versions of me. I've spoken about this about a couple posts a couple years ago, but each of those names or the vibe that I energetically was connecting to was based off of a zodiac sign. And I've learned to really just, as a Scorpio, just come to terms that I am constantly transformational. I'm constantly shedding a skin. I'm constantly elevating in some capacity. And that comes along with what I perceive and show to you guys. I've learned certain things that I want to keep to myself. I've learned some things that I want to share. There's certain lessons that I've learned when I want to express myself and what I feel like is going to be a best representation of me. And so instead of me trying to continue to find another name, I was like, I'm just gonna call myself what day I was born. And that may not even be like the right accuracy to say, but like that's literally what my mindset was. So 11/19 is just my birthday. And yes, I just turned 37. I can't believe I'm 37. Feeling like I'm 27. Life is great. Life is good. I feel beautiful. I feel radiant. I'm creating life in different ways with projects, and I'm just enjoying stuff. So, yeah. Next question. How do you define success? I honestly think success comes in different ways. It comes in different forms into different people and how they view success. Especially if you have like Capricorn or like Earth placements heavy in that, your view of success is going to be different than someone that is a water sign. Same thing with just collaborations and where your placements are in the zodiac sign. I think it's in the house as well in astrology. I know your ideal and the way that you feel about being successful is going to come from each individual that's different. But ultimately, I define success on how I'm able to just enjoy the process and not allowing myself to get caught up in the process. As a Virgo rising, I have a tendency to start something and really get on the ball. And then once I feel like something's not measuring up to that same way, or I'm not giving myself that same type of success that I would give to someone else, I start to kind of lose myself in it. the Virgo. It's literally how I see my day-to-day structure. And this question is, how do you know when you are not aligning with your authentic self? First of all, I'm going to say, great question. Number two, in order for me to be able to help you to answer that question, you have to know, do you even know what your own feminine internal voice is? Do you know what she sounds like? Do you know what the warning signs that she gives you? Do you have an indication of like her radar? Do you understand how she pops up in your life? There's so many different ways for you to tap into your feminine energy, but that ultimately is your map. I will say this too, my face is blue. Our feminine energy is the map. Our vessel, this thing that we call a human body, that's our masculine. And so when we are able to really connect to our feminine energy, our intuition, our authentic self, our higher self, we have that map. We're not lost on where we're going and how we get there and what comes about and the people. We're not worried about all that. We're just literally enjoying the space, and we are enjoying the experiences. It's the internal feeling and emotions that you get with it when you're going through it. The vessel, this thing, is just how we get there. Our hands, the movement is how we get there. So your authentic self is someone who has his own personality, if you will. She will vocalize what she likes and what she doesn't like. But you have to also respect those boundaries and respect those impromptu body responses or the mental responses, emotional responses, that gut feeling. You have to trust those things and not be worrisome about what the outcome is. You're going to be worried about the outcome regardless. You're going to be thinking about it, whether it's good or bad. And so it's actually not even deciding, because ultimately you can decide, do you want the good, do you want the bad? So maybe you choose the good, but there may still be some bad with that. It's not always going to be 100%. There has to be balance in what happens, right? So say, for instance, your authentic self is trying to tell you to leave this partner or to do something differently. If you're constantly ignoring that feeling that I need to leave this partner or this isn't for me, and you stay, you are mitigating who your authentic and higher self is, because in some version you're supposed to be experiencing something else. So in order for you to experience something else, you have to say goodbye to something. It still feels bad, but it also feels good. It's what I would rather have. It's like, I know this is going to be painful, but I would rather have this. So listening to your authentic self pushes you in that direction to your higher self, what you're meant to be experiencing. And so knowing what she sounds like, knowing what her boundaries are, knowing what her personality is really important, which ultimately is you. You have to start listening to you. You are getting the indicators of what's good for you and what's not, what you're wanting to experience and what maybe you don't want to. But you have to start taking that chance. The only way you're going to do that is if you actually try to listen to her. How do you know when you're aligning to your authentic self? You know when every step that you're taking, it doesn't feel wrong. It doesn't feel bad. It doesn't feel scary. It may feel scary, but it's a good scary. It's like an excitement scary. It is a welcoming, like, I'm choosing this and I know it's going to be good for me. So therefore, I'm going to continue to go. I don't know how it's going to be for me, but this feels pretty good right now. So I'm going to just trust that and not be fearful about what I think may come. How do you know when you're not aligning to hers? When you're not listening and you're falling back to patterns, when you're following back to things that you said you were done with, when you're feeling like what you just did just mitigated who you are, made your voice small, you shut down in some capacity of who you are, you let someone else made you feel bad, not sticking up for yourself. It's pretty much like not being your own best friend. When you know you're not being your own best friend, that's when you know you're not aligning. That's when you know you're not listening. That's when you know you're not really trusting. And that's a trusting with self. So like me, I had to learn to trust myself. I had to learn to trust that what I was fucking feeling about these people in my life or the experiences I was going through was right or wrong. Was it based off of fear, or was it based off of things that I know I deserve not to experience? Or is it also too, at the same time, my soul is telling me we've had enough of those experiences. Like, we got all the knowledge we needed. I'm good. So how do you know when you're not aligning, when you're not listening? When poppy shit goes off the rail. When things become more harder than they need to be. When you know ultimately from a cautious mind space that you caused this. And not to say to blame you, but in reality, yeah, I'm going to blame you. You're going to blame yourself. Because if you're in a higher conscious, or you're trying to be more in a higher consciousness, you're basically telling yourself that I know better. I already know the lessons. I already know what I need to be doing. I already know, but you're not doing it, but then you still receive the same thing. Then yeah, blame yourself. You know what you need to do to change that so you can be more aligned to your higher self or your authentic self. So if you're choosing not to do that, 1 + 1 does equal 2, baby. So yeah, like, you know what I mean? It's different if you don't know and you're learning. It's also different when you know and you're still not doing it, but then you get mad because it hasn't changed. What's the best way to practice shadow work? Why are you asking a Scorpio this? Because no one's going to like the answer. No one ever likes that answer. And us being Scorpios, or at least for me, I see people. Meaning I see the underlining. I see the depths. I see your problem. I will literally tell you your problem, and I will literally give you the step-by-step, and y'all still don't even try to listen. Y'all think I'm crazy, and then it's like months later, you're like, oh yeah, she did say that. Yeah. I don't really like telling people how to do shadow work because, again, everyone is different, but I do like to give advice on the softer side of giving and doing it, because we can be our worst critic. And especially if you haven't had an opportunity to communicate in a healthy way your emotions and thoughts, it becomes a lot harder for you to really be vulnerable enough to do the shadow work. Also, too, if you don't have anyone in your camp that can be a support, it's harder to do shadow work, because 9 times out of 10, the type of shadow work you're going to be doing is going to be related to the people that are in your life, because they're the ones that's really creating your environment. And those people that have created your environment has set certain terms or conditions, friendship, boundaries. You've given some, they've given some. The shadow work that you're doing, it stands with self, but the people affect that. And so I can give you questions for shadow work because I love doing journaling questions. I think those are a great way for you to dive in. But doing shadow work doesn't just mean journaling. It doesn't mean just meditating. It means you're peeling back that onion, and you're peeling it back. Like, you're not just going one layer, you're going 50 layers deep. You're getting to the root of the why you do all these things, or why these things have happened to you. You're getting to the root of the things that you don't want to talk about. These are the things that are stuffed in your subconscious mind that we talked about in my last video. So these things are going to be triggers. They're going to be trauma. It's going to be heavy. And some people do it and then they get scared. It's too much for them. They crack open that door, and then they want to close the door back immediately and be like, I didn't know I'm not gonna tap into that. I'm done. I'm going back to what I used to know. I'm not gonna do spirituality. I'm not gonna let myself learn and heal. It's too much. So the best way is being honest, like truthfully honest. Like no one's gonna judge you honest, but you first have to say it and then say it some more. Get used to saying certain things, get used to feeling it, get used to remembering it. Scorpios are depth and deep, and as I said, I have a lot of placements in Scorpio, so I had to learn a lot about myself. That caused me to do a lot of transformation, but it required me to go in the darkness. It required me to basically almost drown a good couple times and then be able to swim all the way back up and breathe and be like, okay, I'm good. Like I can actually breathe now. So the best way is to be honest, to trust what you're feeling and what's coming up, not dismiss it and not feel like it's not correct or that it's something that needs to be reestablished. I think tapping into that probably really help you understand like what your shadow work is going to look like. Maybe you do need to journal out a lot more. Maybe you need to communicate. Maybe you need to do therapy. Maybe your shadow work is having someone else there so you can bouncer off the communication. Maybe your shadow work is actually doing meditations with your ancestors or doing meditations with your inner child on a weekly basis, daily basis, so that you're connecting to her, him, them. You know what I mean? Your shadow work is going to look different from other people, but the best way is to just be honest and trust. What is your biggest pet peeve? You coming into the room after I clean and you dirtying the fuck up? Irks me. Why'd you do that after I just cleaned? And this is talking to a Virgo rising, so why would you do that? Why would you do that? Do you do hair? No. I only do my hair. I used to cut hair. I used to dye my hair. I used to have hair all the way down to here. I can do hair, but I don't want to do hair. Wigs and braids. Like, even though I'm this color, that is the one thing that I just didn't learn. Like, it wasn't in my camp. You know what I mean? Like, it's not on my book of learning skills. And it don't help that I got these now. So, no, I'm probably not going to learn. Favorite color? My favorite color? She will always be blue. She will always be blue. That's because I know my soul is blue. I know my aura is blue. Just blue. Communication. I talk to y'all. I love talking. That openness, that throat chakra, like the spirituality. Blue. Are you gay? I'm not gay. Have I dipped? Yes. I didn't dip very long, but I did dip. But no, I'm not gay. Do I have a lot of friends? No, I don't. I used to have, well, I don't want to say that. Like, I had a group of friends, like all of us in high school. Am I friends with them now? Hell no. Fuck no. I have met people here. Yes. Do we chat it up and stuff like that? Yes. But the people that really know me, that I talk to at least on a daily, weekly basis, that if I don't check in, they actually worry about me. To the people who actually like have helped me and I helped them in different ways on a monetary space, but then also on a spiritual space, an emotional, mental space. Yeah, I don't have a lot of those. I literally probably got like 4, and honestly, it's probably like 3. But those are my ride or die girls. And these are women that I technically haven't even met. Like, that's also the kicker. These are women that have found me and we just kicked it off so much that we've been best friends since. for years. Insane to me. But do I have a lot of friends? I have people that I know, but friends, best friends, not many, baby. Do you have any boyfriends? And if so, how many? I have 0. Zip. Let me repeat that. I have 0. I have zip. I don't know why people think that people are in my DMs. No one's in my DMs. No one's in my DMs. No one's asking anything. I've been on dating apps, and you guys seen that on my social media and stuff like that. But like, nah, man. Like, no one's. I got my heart hurt a couple times, and then on top of that, no one sees the value in me like I do. So I keep that shit to myself. Are you a freak? Belt. Yes. You guys know that Scorpio's in my Venus. Like, yes. Yes. Do I send nudes? Have you ever failed? Have you ever failed? Yes, I failed numerous times. Oh my God. Honestly, I feel like I'm failing now. Honestly, sometimes I do. I feel like because there's certain things that I want to do in the day, there's certain things that I have to do in the day. There's things that I want to accomplish, which takes time that I have to make sure I put it on the calendar to do. Time is speeding up, and I feel like I don't get to do a lot of the things that I want to do. And then I lack other places. And then I feel like I'm failing, even though I know I'm not. But it feels like that sometimes because there's so much that I want to do. I'm just ambitious, y'all. That's just my problem. Okay? That's what's in my chart. Like, I know where this is coming from and what like astrology sign and house that's coming from. And that's just me wanting to be like, and I don't have a million Candaces. So it's like, so do I ever feel like I failed? Yes. But I've learned from all of those. And I don't like calling them failures because those are just experiences. Those experiences taught me a lot and what to do next and how to proceed and so forth and so forth. Who are you closer to, your mom or your dad? Tricky question. I would say growing up, I was more closer to my father. Both parents in the household, by the way. My mother, yeah, but she was more in the masculine. So, and when I did spend time with my dad, which was like all the time, because I missed him. He was never really home because of work. So when he was home, I just really wanted to spend time with my dad. So I would hang out with him all the time. And my mom wouldn't really want to hang out with me. So when he got home, I was also the youngest. So I would just get spoiled. I know I was spoiled. And me and my dad, we just had a more open dialogue than me and my mother. Now, older life, me and my mother got closer, I would say probably right around the time I got pregnant, but then also when my dad died. And so that relationship got a little bit better. But then that's also the same time where I learned a lot about my own things. My own spiritual journey came in, my own healing journey came in when my dad died. So a lot of that changed because I was realizing a lot. And now that my dad is dead, I still feel more closer to him than I do with my mother who's still alive. What is your favorite way to recharge and find inspiration? Honestly, I like to just ask myself, and I think that's just because I'm a Scorpio and I'm just really in tune. I'll give you an example. Before I changed all the aesthetics of 1119, everything was like blue, cream, greens, that kind of thing. And that was my Virgo rising energy really coming out, just like very earthy, open dialogue. Ever since like April and May of this year, which is technically the new astrological year, and I looked at my progress natal chart, I saw that my energy is going to be changing in a way that makes me kind of focus more on that darker side, the side that I don't usually show. And I think that's really in tune with the Pluto transit that hit on my birthday, now that I'm kind of thinking about it. So like the inspiration I got for really changing or transitioning from the light blue to more of the darker red and berries and black and creams is because of this new Candace that I was envisioning. This Candace was feminine, very like soft and silky and like just relaxed and just like, okay. Men, women, theys and them, like really, but mostly men because I want to punish them in a more like dominant way. Like that version of me wants to be put out. Like her vibe is that. Don't talk to me unless you already know you got X, Y, and Z. Like that's the vibe. Higher standards, luxury, put together. Okay. That's the vibe I got from her, and I got very much of the dark feminine, but like not Lilith, but a splash. It's like a splash of Lilith, a splash of Hecate, a splash of Isis, like that energy of just like a radiant dominance. Sekhmet too, you know, and just being different. And I don't wear red. I don't wear those colors on a natural basis. But that is my Venus sign. So as I told you guys in that video, Venus energy, I was going to start embarking my Venus energy really well. And so I just took inspiration from what I saw on Pinterest, what I saw other people talking about it. Like I did a lot of research for a couple of days. Like how are other people explaining this? But then how does that intertwine to what I am intuitively feeling as such as a vibe? Like I wanted to know what would be the best way to really tap into that. And so I just allowed myself to think about it. Like I look at other creators, I look at other people, I get inspiration from other people, and I just kind of like mix it into my own little brew and then just create it from there. My inner child thrives on this, by the way. Like she loves doing this stuff. It's really cool how she gets to like flourish on that freedom, and then me as the adult version just makes that happen. When was the last time you got some pom pom? Something you wanted to learn and why? Y'all are nosy. Y'all are so nosy. I'm changing the subject immediately. What was the question? What was your favorite movie and why? Favorite movie, hands down, is anything Disney related back in the 90s. We got Lion King, Little Mermaid, Aladdin. Okay. Those are the classics. Yes. Then we got Dumb and Dumber. Favorite. Can't fuck with that movie. I'm gonna say every fucking word. Hot chick. You think it's so cool because you can pee with your penis. Get a new conditioner. Your ends are totally split. Not my buttons. Not my gumdrop buttons. Yeah, I'm like that annoying friend when it comes to movies. But I do like watching movies that are like action based. I know. Now pause, wait, like not like a typical action-y movie. Like I want like kind of like John Wick, but like a girl version. Or a different version like John Wick, but just something where like the actor's actually doing it and it's like full on bloody fist. I'm pretty sure my soul from another life is just like, yeah, I want to see movies like that. And I love watching those movies because a lot of them are kind of fucking good and no one talks about them. So I like watching movies like that. Then it would be, if I were to watch something else, if it's not kid related and not action related, it then may be a comedy and not a rom-com, but a comedy. Actually, before that, it'd probably be a scary movie and then it would be a rom-com. I'm not really into rom-coms. I mean, they're cute, but you know what I mean? How is your relationship with your children's father? Great question. One of them is cool. It's I am no one's mother other than my own son, so there's that. But he and I are cool. The other one I don't talk to. That's a whole nother story about my other child that you guys don't see or hear or anything like that. So yeah, I guess another question could be like, well, what is she talking about? I'm talking about, if you didn't know, I do have another child. His name is Oliver. And he doesn't live with me. He lives with his father in a different city. And I don't get visitation and I don't get FaceTime. And this has been going on for 3-4 years now. And if you want to know all that stuff, you can just take a look down at this whole channel, because I pretty much showed all of that in some capacity back then. So I don't have any relationship with that father. But other than the other one, my oldest father, yes, me and him have a copacetic relationship where we talk about our kid and it's simply just about that. How did you find spirituality, and what would be your recommendation for someone starting out? Great question. I started out because my oldest at the time was 8. I just had Oliver. I was about he was about a year and a half old. Not happy, super depressed, sad. We just moved, felt alone, isolated, and I was just not myself. He came up to me and said, Mommy, actually, you're not the same mommy anymore. I don't know why you're so sad, but can you fix yourself? Can you figure out why you're not feeling well? And that tore me up, because I didn't realize that my 8-year-old son would see that. So if he's seeing it, I got to figure it out, because I was a stay-at-home mom at the time with 2 kids. So I had to figure it out. And I didn't want to be put on pills. I didn't want to interrupt my body and what I was already going through and changing it. So I picked up a book and I wanted to see what is the mind and how does the mind work. Hence the new series I started with you guys. And then for me, really learning about my brain, it led me to learn more about energy and how everything is energy. We are energy. We attract things that we are, the different frequencies, and how everything that we eat has a certain frequency to it, a certain energy to it. What we eat causes into our body. I went into this whole rabbit hole of just everything we consume and how everything's related. And then that led into energy, transforming energy. Energy can't dissipate. It can only go somewhere else. And different types of things that people have experienced before that are related to spirituality, like finding yourself through the science. And I was really intrigued by that, because I've always been a part of the occult just because I'm a Scorpio. I've seen things, I've heard things, I've experienced a lot of things I just really never said or spoke about when I was a kid. So I knew in some capacity that was real. And I was like, well, then how does that work with this stuff, just living? And it made me open my mind from a narrow-minded way of looking at life to a more expansive way of looking at life that made me take responsibility to change. So as I was learning, I was changing. As I was learning, I was connecting. As I was learning, I was trying other things, testing other tools, reading what other people are saying about certain things, and then giving myself a chance to really tap in. And I'm saying all this to say is to give yourself that same space, because learning from other people and hearing from other people on why they chose that tool or why they chose spirituality or what does spirituality mean to them, it's all going to be different. It's all going to be relative, but it's all going to be different. So if you can really tap in and give yourself the space to try new things and not have it be set and allow yourself to explore and have fun and learn, cry, but learn, you're going to be golden. So spirituality is what you make it. And mine just happens to be with a lot of different tools like the earth elements, astrology, tarot, mindset, the brain, energy, frequency, the universal laws, angels, like just tapping into different stuff and making it my own. You can do the same thing, but it's being open. It's again, you're unlearning to relearn. So you're unlearning a lot of habits or things that you didn't necessarily know you had to. So you're doing it. So it's like, give yourself that space and that time to like relearn. Do you see yourself married at any point? I do. I see myself actually, I'm not going to say I just heard, don't say it. I see myself, yes, married. I do. And I do feel like this is my last go around. So I know that a lot of my hardships this entire lifetime and me being alive has been about relationships and me always coming back to self, me realizing about me. And it feels different this time now that I'm 37. It feels more, solid. So yes, I do feel like love and marriage for me, absolutely. I'm not controlling on the win anymore. I'm just letting that shit rock. What's your favorite type of food and why? Bread, cookies, sugar. I have a sweet tooth, y'all, but I love bread. And y'all already know I make my shit from like scratch, so I love cooking vegan. But I do love sweets and I do love bread. So you're constantly probably seeing me make like pancakes. Yeah, I love bread. I love sweets. Okay, last one. How do you feel about people talking about tarot readers? And how do you feel as being a tarot reader? Dang. Okay. What other people say about tarot readers is fine. That's their prerogative. Just don't say it about me. Because if you do, make sure you come correct with what you're saying and what happened. Because just remember who you're talking to or who you're talking about. I can't talk about other people. I can only talk about me. And I'm an energy-based reader for that specific reason. I'm different. I actually learned about the books, about why tarot, the stories, from different people, different authors. Even when I see different people to this day talk about tarot or card placement, I'm learning from them. I'm like, oh, that's a cool way of looking at it. It's a constantly revolving thing. Tarot to me is a tool, so I'm learning my tool. On top of that, I've learned the books of it. It's like I am a different type of learner. You know how some people learn by doing it and some people learn by actually reading it? I'm both. So I'm helping myself learn to use this tool to its best knowledge. I've learned about it by books and I learned about it by really testing it out. But when I'm testing it out, I'm actually allowing myself not to be so book-minded, but more just flow with my feminine energy. Just flow. Give me the answers. That's me tapping into my magic and my psyche-ness. Me connecting to my spiritual family, my guides, me allowing them to come through to give you guys messages. I'm just an energy-based person. I'm channeling your energy. I'm channeling the vibe. I'm channeling what you need to hear. Not what you want to hear, but what you need to hear. And so I can't talk about other people. I can only talk about me. And I know for me, I'm real as hell. You ain't gonna get another one like me. And I know because that's what I was born to do. Literally says it in my natal chart. So I'm not too like worried about what other people may say. Just if you do, just make sure you don't come back. But I think every people have their own opinion. There's some tarot readers out there that are out there for only money. Just like any and everything, people are out there for their own. And especially now. So yeah, I can see that. But you also have to give yourself like that understanding that like there's two sides to everything. So that's how I feel. I love that you guys enjoy my readings. I love giving our readings. It's the vibe for me. It would always be the vibe for me. But yeah, I just think if someone has something negative to say about a tarot reader, they've either had a bad experience with it, or they just didn't really trust or really learn or understand what the cards meant to what the reading was trying to say. It may not have been interpreted to the person correctly. Wow. Next time we do this, I would like to maybe give you guys more time to give me more questions, but I feel like that's pretty good. Next week's video is definitely going to be about frequency, energy and frequency. I want you guys to understand energy and frequency. It's such an easy way for you to start knowing what energy you're bringing in and what is around you. And I think you guys are going to really like it. So thanks for hanging out with me. Hopefully you guys had a good sesh with me. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions, or if you have any more questions about me and we should do this again. Thank you for listening. I'm sending you guys so much love and light. Bye guys.